Now, sometimes cars are very, very beautiful, and the owner of perhaps the most beautiful cars has to be Alfa Romeo, that and Ferrari. I really love Ferraris, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder, as they say. But this is not. This has been voted one of the most beautiful cars that you can get, and this is the Alfa Romeo Giulia Veloce. So this is a 2-litre, 280 horsepower, 8-speed automatic saloon, or sedan as you guys say in America, and it starts at around £47,000 here in the UK. Obviously, the top model of this is the Giulia Quadrifoglio, which I've got a video on. But this is a very, very interesting car. Let's look at the differences, because this has had some big changes both outside and inside from that first Quadrifoglio I featured a few years ago. Now, if I had any criticism of the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio and the Giulia in general, it was even 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I felt like the technology was a bit out of date. They had bi-xenon headlamps. Well, that's gone on this. We now have LEDs with a distinct Alfa Romeo design, daytime running lights, LEDs, full LEDs. It looks a lot better, and actually you can see the Quadrifoglio 4-leaf clover in the middle there. That's a bit cheeky. I wonder if that means those come from a Quadrifoglio and they just decided to put the 4-leaf clover on there and put them on all the cars. I don't know. At the front here, you can see we've got our really, really beautiful Alfa Romeo design. We've got a little area down here at the bottom, a bit of contrast there. Here we go. And then we've got our sensors for adaptive cruise control and driver assist. Now, when I originally drove the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio, it was missing some vital features. Not only were we missing LED lights, but we were also missing adaptive cruise and assist features. We were also missing Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and we had traditional dials. There was no doubt the quality of that car, but it was missing some of the basic features that competitors like the C63 and M3 had. And considering the price was at the time very much the same, that was not a great look. And you were kind of compromising a bit if you went for one by having less advanced technology, but maybe getting a more vibrant, or definitely a more vibrant V6 engine, which is based on Ferrari's V6 engine with over 500 horsepower. We've got these Alfa Romeo wheels. I really like the design of the Alfa Romeo wheels. I think, honestly, those and Genesis wheels are probably the best. It's really hard to say Genesis, by the way, especially in the plural. At the back of this car, we've got the same design tail lights, and we've got a nice diffuser, and we've got our 2 exhausts down here. Here inside the Giulia, you see a couple of changes. First of all, we've got a bigger screen than some of the earlier versions of the Giulia, though this is not a recent change, but it is a change from earlier cars. Now, one thing I would also add here, this is more widescreen, is this is still quite a small display. I feel like this is one compromise here. They could have even made it take all that space up. It would have been even better, but this is a big difference. We've got a digital driver's display right in the middle, which interestingly is showing my oil levels. I don't know why, but I like that I can see that. No more sticking the dipstick in and getting it out. You can just see it on here. And again, this is our 333 design headlights, which look very clever, very cool, and I'm very, very impressed with. I love the look of that, and that is the new Alfa Romeo kind of look that you can see. Now, when we start this car up, one thing I love about it is we've got a start button on the steering wheel. Even though this isn't the performance model, it's still got it, and we can still see information on the screen with these really cool dials which match the circular look here around the steering wheel. A bit hard to show here, but you can see that circular design, which looks fantastic. The other thing the Giulia has is these amazing gear shifters, and I love these. They allow you to change gear and they stay on the stalk, so they don't move with the steering wheel. This is a luxury that you would only get on something like a Ferrari. These are one of the Giulia's most amazing features, and really makes you feel like you're driving a sports car, even though this is not a sports car. This is, well, 280 horsepower is by no means slow, and we'll test the 0 to 60 time in a minute, but it is definitely an interesting way that we can see the thoroughbred kind of design of the Giulia. Now, on the Quadrifoglio, this was leather or covered in leather, so this is now soft plastic, but it's nice. We've got this interesting sort of grated metal design. Just the interior feels very nice quality. No black plastic in the middle here. I love that. I'm not a big fan of this shifter, but that's just personal preference. And I definitely don't like the indicator stalks who don't come back. Even BMW, who originally had those stalks, has stopped doing those stalks, so that's a bit of a disappointment. But this interior is just very, very comfortable, very nice. Now, looking at the infotainment system, we've got here our radio, and we can swap between and see we've got these different panels. This is very similar. Obviously, you will have seen this on other Alfa Romeos, but it's simple to use and it's easy. It's just a tiny bit laggy. I don't think you're buying an Alfa Romeo because of technology. I think that's just something which you get, and as these Alfa Romeos get more advanced, and the next generation of Alfa Romeos with even better displays, even better infotainment systems, like on the Tonale, there's a big difference there with the interior. But you're buying this car because it is a beautiful car to look at, with all the passion and the heritage of Alfa Romeo, and that is what you want from one of these cars. You want the passion, you want the heritage from the car, and that's what you get with this car. Driving an Alfa Romeo, do you feel like you belong in a luxury Italian villa? Do I feel like George Clooney living on Lake Como? I mean, the car definitely wouldn't look out of place there, definitely. This is a very, very luxurious car to drive, and you do feel special driving this car. Feeling those metal shifters just feels, you know, amazing. It just feels like, I feel like I should be in Italy right now. So if you are in Italy and you're watching this video, let me know in the comments down below, because I'd be curious to know who's in Italy and watching this video. But just, it feels great. Now the suspension on this surface here feels very supple. It doesn't feel bumpy. It doesn't feel like it's going all over the place. I'm very, very happy with the suspension. I think having a suspension in a car which is comfortable on English roads is a bit of a hard thing to get right, and I think Alfa have definitely done that here with this car. Let's check the 0 to 60 time. .8 seconds, and the back was definitely moving there. So rear wheel drive isn't the best for launching, but it definitely has its liveliness. So driving along a normal road, how sporty, we're in dynamic mode now. So I can, let's shift down a gear. Let's go down a gear. And let's go up a gear. And let's see how this feels. You know, like, I feel really connected to the car. I feel like the steering is very direct, very sharp. I just think this is handling really, really well. It's definitely a good, very, very good handling car. I mean, this handles better than my Audi RS3. And I always said that the Quadrifoglio had that handling, which I think was a level above some of the other cars that were in the same competition. And this definitely feels that way. There's no doubt there. It handles like a purebred. And it's really, really interesting to see that as we go through the corners here. If we swap down into normal mode, what does that do? You feel the urgency kind of come out the car a bit. You're obviously not getting that 280 horsepower, and you just feel more like the car is relaxed and it's taking its time and it's breathing. You feel there's plenty of grip. You know, it wasn't, except for when I did that launch, that I felt the back of the car moving. I'm not a huge fan of that. I know pure lovers of cars will be like, yes, I really want the back of the car moving. I don't want the back of the car moving. I like a four-wheel drive system on a car, personally. But if you love that pure feeling, this has definitely got that driving, that pure Italian driving. And for a car which, at £47,000, has a really good quality interior, looks amazing, and drives fantastic. And it's got all of the driver assist technology you can want as well. What a really, really good bargain. It's a bargain, I think, in all honesty. For what this is, it's a bargain. So, Alfa Romeo Giulia, is it the most beautiful car that you can get? I think probably yes is the answer. It looks amazing. We've got the LEDs lit up there, you can see. I just think that as a brand and as a car, Alfa Romeo are really doing a lot right now, and I think as they move to the next generation of cars, starting with the Tonale and then hopefully the facelifted version of this, and of course don't forget the brand new concept that they put out, which actually not a concept, it's going to be a production car, which harkens back to Alfa's origins, which is a fantastic looking car. All these are just signs of a really bright future for Alfa Romeo, and yeah, it's just a car that you walk away from and you want to look at behind you. And when I park this back up in a minute, I'm definitely going to be looking behind myself to see if it's looking back at me. Thank you for watching.